Hello, this is John Piper with the weekend video clip, and it's Saturday the 16th of May. A quick message from James Altucher, probably pronounced that incorrectly, but he says the lockdown is ending and the stock market is going up. First, the lockdown is ending, not because governments are opening up, but because people are. Elon Musk said, "Screw you" to California, and he opened up his factory and nobody stopped him. This is what government should look like. Power for the people, except of course when breaking the law. These lockdowns were never law, they aren't even constitutional. You know how I know? Because somebody sued Wisconsin about the lockdown and won in court, and the court said the lockdowns were not constitutional. Wisconsin then opened up, and everyone was out, no masks, spitting on each other, whatever. Am I worried about more surges of the needless suffering predicted by Fauci? No. In this very newsletter in March, I said the peaks for the virus in the US would occur around April the 15th. It did, and that by the end of May it would be nearly over. It will be. In New York City, for example, new hospitalizations are now about 0. And Georgia, the first state to reopen, also has about 0 new hospitalizations, despite every pessimist saying it would be in thousands by now. So, goodbye lockdown. Right, let's look at the positives for now. And look at Bitcoin. We have this, this is a weekly chart, and you can see that we're heading towards a very significant trend line resistance. We'll look at the actual pattern, but we had the low of the bear market back in December 2018, 5 rows up to here, a big ABC, a massive ABC down in fact with that later sell-off earlier this year. And now we've got 5 waves up, which we'll look at in a minute. And the next thrust, I believe, will take us above, once the low is into the current move, through this trend line. So 10,000 is a pretty key level, as we saw earlier a few days ago. But that chart, once we break up, as long as we do, of course, break out, it looks very positive, I think. I've been talking about alternative counts here, but my favourite count is we've got 5 rows up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The ABC count, where this is an A, that's a B, that's a C, remains valid. As long as this remains corrective, the current ABC, which we're seeing, that would tend to discount that corrective count. But we can't totally rule it out at the moment. It's also possible what we're seeing here is actually part of wave 5. I think that's pretty unlikely. So let's have a look at the action since this peak. Okay, so the correction side is just above 10,000. Clear ABC form for the A wave. Another ABC to there, then a B and a C. So we've got a corrective rally, which supports the case for more downside. That's sort of fairly clear. A, B, C, B, and this is, I think, going to continue. C equal A around 7,960, so around the 8,000 level. I mean, that may not be all we're going to see. It's a little bit subnormal in terms of the price increase. I mean, the 38.2 level is here, around 7.6. 50% is around 7,000. So that would be quite a subnormal correction, around 8,000. It can happen, of course, and it may well be that the forces that are working here, maybe it's be too strong for a bigger correction. But for now, I'm inclined to see the thing go down rather than up before we see the break. And once we see 10,000 broken again, in fact, one could just put a stop above 10,000 to buy the market as one trading strategy, because that would be there's never a safe bet, but or at least nothing that's 100% safe, but there's a good case above 10,000 we're going to see a decent rally. And what stop you use would be up to you, really. Ideally, just monitor it. I mean, sometimes you see a break and the break just keeps going, so you never worry about stops. Other times you can monitor it and just decide perhaps to look for momentum going down to get out. So if it goes against you with a bit of strength, then you bail out. So you can limit your exposure quite dramatically by doing that. But of course you have a stop in place, and it may happen while you're asleep. So that's a stop to buy. So to be clear, so you put a stop to buy above 10,000. Then obviously you're going to have to put some kind of protective stop in place, because when that actually happens, you have no idea what you'll be doing or where you'll be or whatever. But how big a stop, I don't know. I mean, you can put 200 points in, that'd be £10 a point, £2,000 exposure. You may consider that a very worthwhile risk if it's going to double to 20,000. I think it will do, not all at once. But so at £10 a point, you could make 100,000, and you're risking 2,000 to make 100,000. But of course, it stops you out. It goes down 200 points and then goes up. Then you've still got that loss. So it's a matter of deciding for yourself what you want to do about that. Anyway, overall, I think there's a bit more downside, and then this expected rally. Ethereum, we have this 5-wave form. I mean, this third wave is very subnormal, 4 and 5, but it does follow the pattern of Bitcoin. Then got an A, B, C. That's probably just an A wave, in fact. So A, and then a B, which may not be over yet, and then another leg down. So a more normative correction here. So 160 will be down at the 50% level. With wave 4 support around 165, so that looks like a fairly likely sort of target, but it could go a bit lower. I mean, certainly Ethereum is not nearly as strong as Bitcoin. At least the rally phase was not as strong. Alright, gold, we have this breakout from the triangle. What I'm not sure about is whether this is actually a 5-part 1, a triangular 2, unusual to have a triangle on 2 in fact, and now a new leg up, or whether we've seen a possibly even an ABC. In fact, there could be an A, B, C, a triangular B, and then a C. That would be quite strong as well. An alternative, which is actually quite hard to count here, is that this is actually all some kind of 1 wave, 2 wave, 3 wave, a 4 wave, and now this 5th wave. I mean, the 5th wave is okay. I mean, this rally is okay, but it's not really setting the world alight. I mean, it started at 1690 thereabouts, broke above 1700. That was good, but it's stalling rather. Stalled at 1750. I mean, gold stocks continue to do very well, but the precious metals themselves are hesitating a bit. We've still got some Evil Knievel's prediction that gold is going to go above 20. I think it was 2,000 at the June expiry, which I think it was the 20th of June. I forget the date now, but you can Google that. Because there's a shortage of physical gold and people will be wanting delivery of gold at that expiry, this is the logic, and therefore the gold price is able to go up as people scramble around to try and buy gold so they can actually deliver it at that expiry. That of course may not affect the futures market so much, but would affect the spot market. I had been pretty bearish about equities, but we're just not seeing the kind of action that is bearish at this point. We've got this big collapse, of course, no change there, as it happened in the past. Odd if that had changed. ABC, very clearly corrected rally, failed to make the 50% level, so very weak. But from there, we've got an ABC currently, ABC. I mean, that could change. We saw a big fall next week. I'm not sure seeing much sign of that, but let's have a look at the action since this peak. We've got 5 waves down. That's a negative. It suggests the move is going to continue. ABC, a respectable retracement, 61.8%. In fact, above that, near between 78.6 and 61.8. So maybe just below 70%. This could be a 5. 1, 2, 3, perhaps a 4 there and a 5. And then we bounce up in this ABC. So although the actual overall pattern, from here, is A, B, C, definitely it could be a correction, although following a very clear correction. It is possible this is an ABC also. So next week should tell the story. I mean, maybe we're going to blip up initially in an ABC form to form a wave 2, i.e. we're going to see a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then downside. We had expiry on Friday. Often you see sharper moves after expiry as people open new option positions, and if that's all one-way business, so everybody buys puts, for example, then traders are forced, people selling the options, market makers are forced to hedge in the futures market, and then you get this sort of effect where the whole market starts to fall away. That's possible. That is still possible. I'm not ruling it out, but this rally looks pretty good at the moment, so let's just look at that. So this looks pretty impulsive, up to there, correction ABC, And this again shows some strength. It's not really the stuff of legend, but it could be a 1 perhaps with the 2 coming in. I think a break above 5840 would be a positive. I mean, if we're going to see negativity next week, it would tend to come in pretty early on. So I think a break above that would be encouraging, but similarly a break below there would be a negative. Same kind of action on the DAX. The big ABC decline, which some count as a 5, doesn't make a huge amount of difference really. It's in the sense that if it was a 5, then you definitely expect more downside, but an ABC, you can still get a bigger ABC, so it's arguable. ABC rally testing at an A wave, B wave, kind of this is a C wave. So again, we're at the same kind of point here, where we have a retracement between 50% and 61.8%. I just failed to make my target by about 100 points, I think 160 points, which isn't bad from 8,000 up to 11,338. So let's have a look at the action since this peak at 11,338. So you've got the same pattern really, got the same ABC pattern off the peak, A, B, and again a 61.8% retracement. In fact, between the two, 78.6 and 61.8. This looks like either an ABC or a 1, 2, 3 with a 4 now coming in, but the 4 is pretty impulsive. So we're not. Again, the market is hedging its bets really, making it difficult to draw any firm conclusions. But if we look at the action, this rally, it does have impulsive characteristics. I mean, that could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 4 and 5. But of course, again, we've got this quite big 4 in that count, which could be a B, so it could be an ABC. It's I mean, this is pretty impulsive again, but then we're rallying up. It looks like we're going to take out this peak here around 10,550 thereabouts. So the same kind of thing really. A break above this would be a positive, but a break below there would be a negative. The chart patterns are, I mean, they will become clearer, but at the moment they allow pretty much anything to happen. I mean, it was crystal clear really down to this this low here. But then we had this bigger rally, and now we're just, this decline is not continuing. In fact, we've got this bigger rally again coming in. So clarity was in place up to here, but is no longer in place. And finally, the Dow, we saw this very large decline. We then saw well, I think I count as an ABC really, but it can be counted as a 5. And the retracement is again just below 61.8% level. Missed my target of 25,100 by 180 points. And again, we've got the same kind of pattern, which looks like an ABC, but the initial structure can suggest it's actually going to be an impulsive move. So same kind of consideration. So we had a clearly impulsive A wave or 1 wave, clear ABC, 2 wave or B wave, 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, and possibly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fourth wave 5. But again, it could easily be an ABC, A, B, C. Again, we're in the same kind of pattern. However, again, they've got this very strong rally on the Dow. Pretty clearly impulsive move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Followed by quite a sharp fall and then ABC. So I guess the case on the Dow is a little bit stronger that we're going to go down from here. It's the support level here around 2350.80 or thereabouts is important, I think, as obviously is 23,330 thereabouts. But move above here would be pretty encouraging, really. So next week the action could be pretty important, but we could see some pretty substantial moves. I mean, we've got Bitcoin poised to go up once the rally's over, which probably take a few more days, maybe even a week or two. But the equities could be seeing some pretty dynamic action next week after the expiry on Friday. Quite a long report today. I found that interesting and useful. I'm back with the report on Tuesday to subscribers. Have a great weekend, thanks for listening, and bye for now.